Good morning, everybody. It's Steve Brown from Mirae Asset Live, Mirae Asset Securities YouTube channel in English in Vietnam. Joining me today is our head of research, Mr. Minh.Le, who has been instrumental in driving the YouTube channel for Mirae Asset Securities in Vietnam since its launch in September 2020. Moving forward, what we'll be showing is C-suite dialogues with executives of the listed VN30 and also investor relations personnel. With Minh and myself, he'll be also introducing his team of analysts whenever we've got periodic research updates of interest. Minh?
Yes, hello Stephen and our value esteemed customers. I'm happy to stay you here to co-host a kind like YouTube channel to supporting our clients how to update what's going on in Vietnam and what's the potential investment for them. And yes, today we launched the news program. And let's do it fast and efficiently.
Yes, indeed. One of the things with Mirae, Minh, he is one of the only PhD qualified research analysts employed in Vietnam and indeed regionally throughout ASEAN. Minh has been with our company for a couple of years now, and with our team in research, it's got 16 staff, including support, which is among the leading contingent of research analysts in Vietnam. In my area, which is cash equities, sales and trading, we also have a top 3 contingent of traders and sales staff. I've been in Vietnam since 2013, and our head of wholesale, he has been in Vietnam since 2008. That's in unison with our CEO of our business, who's also been here for over 12 years now. As far as our research goes, Minh, we pride ourselves on a client-first focus. We're objective. We don't have any interdependence to look at any local insider issues. So one of the things that you've been able to bring to bear that our client feedback is very positive on is how unbiased and independent it is.
Thank you. Your comments about my team's work. At the moment, we have 16 staff, as you mentioned, and we cover a category of industries, ranging from technologies, consumer, banks, real estate, technologies, etc. And we try to cover as much as possible. And this time is coming to the end of the first quarter, and I hope that our team will have more reports very early soon.
Yes. One of the exciting things that Minh's team's doing, we do a full coverage written reports on approaching 40 companies, and then we also have very timely unrated company updates. The most recent one was on the newly listed OCB Bank. The way that we're bringing that out is through PDF file format for clients, and also we'll be uploading that to Bloomberg for the trading desks and PMs internationally. Now, Minh, as far as if we look at the first 2 months of this year, Vietnam's been a bit of a standout regionally. The capital flight from ASEAN has seen Vietnam foreign investor withdrawals less than 130 million US, which is dramatically lower than some of the ASEAN peers. Thailand's had over $600 million US withdrawn in the year to date. Where do you see first half 2021 the capital flow coming into the FII cash equity space, up or down now?
Yeah, it's quite difficult for me to answer correctly. But in my views, Vietnamese markets have become more attractive than our peers in ASEAN countries. Some valuation metrics, including the PE forward ratios, we are quite low, about 16 to 17 only, whereas our peers about above 20s.
Yes.
So with that kind of valuations, I think that foreign investor will pay attention to Vietnamese market. Moreover, this year and last year, even last year, GDP growth of Vietnam has a positive number. We are among very few countries in the world have a positive number. And I expect that the COVID in Vietnam is less serious than other countries. And Vietnam government is quite like effectively control the pandemics. And with that expectation, not only FII, I expect that FDI also comes too.
Sure.
And many big players like Samsung, even Xiaomi. This afternoon I just met a guy related to Xiaomi, and he said that Xiaomi can open a factory soon in Vietnam this year. So I mean that FDI and FII have a potential in Vietnam, not only the first half this year, maybe for the whole year and the following years too.
Sure. I agree with the FDI flow. One of the things with Vietnam, the attractiveness as a manufacturing then ensuing export hub. With the Chinese company that you mentioned, that would be one of the first major global technology manufacturing companies that was established in China, looking as if it could set up a manufacturing presence in Vietnam, which would be fantastic news all around, because historically it's been foreign companies that had manufacturing presence in China relocating or coming direct from overseas to Vietnam.
Yeah, one more interesting about Vietnam is that we have signed many bilateral and multilateral trade agreements with the key partners in the Asia, like Korean, and Japan, China, and in European with England and UK and EU, even in the US too. And recently we have a sign. Most recently is about the bilateral agreement with the UK. You know, UK exists the European countries, but we are very soon to achieve the agreement. And very first 2 months of this year, the total exported value to UK increased sharply, and that's my observation.
The UK Vietnam FTA is closely modelled on the EU VNFTA, so the rollout should be very efficient of that and beneficial for both parties for sure. One of the things that we've seen with that is AstraZeneca. They've been announcing the initiation of rolling out the vaccine for COVID-19, and also then the localized manufacture and distribution of it through the National Vaccine Company here in Vietnam. So that's a good exhibit of the cooperation going on between the two countries. Now, as far as the rest of the broader market goes, a lot of client comment on the attractiveness of Vietnam has always been the stability of the currency. Where do you see this year the VND trending towards the USD? Still around the 23,000 mark? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, one of the most concerned of the foreign clients about the value of the local currencies. And I'm confidently can say that the value of our currencies is quite stable this year. One of the most driving factor for the stability of the currency is coming from the increasing the amount of the foreign reserve. We achieve a total reserve up to like 100 billion US dollar very shortly, recently. And the amount is increasing because in the 2 first months of this year, we have a positive surplus, trade surplus. And the trade surplus contributed to an increasing foreign reserve in Vietnam. And I think that this kind of tendency will continue for the whole year because the reallocation of the foreign investor in Vietnam, FDI, and the exported of our products to our trading partner, and those kind of activity will contribute positively to the value of the currencies. And for currency, I don't see any potential harm or bad effect for a foreign investor.
Yeah, it's been incredibly stable. I've been in Vietnam since 2013. when I arrived from Australia, the currency for the Australian dollar and the US dollar was almost at parity. And within a short space of time, it dropped to about 70 cents US to the Australian dollar. So if we look at the cash equity trading highlights for February, we had the first 2 months of this year, the VN index constituents, over 400 stocks, over 300 of those were all in positive territory. So even though there's been a little bit of sell-off in some stocks, we've been holding relatively steady. Even though there's been outflows, a lot of the local ETFs, like the Diamond ETF, has seen capital inflows, and overall, other VN30 focused ETFs have also received net inflows. So overall, if you look at the performance of this, Thailand 621 million outflow, Vietnam less than 130 million outflow. There has been also a slight downgrade in daily turnover. A lot of that was due to the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange having capacity issues based on over 2,000 accounts per day, each and every trading day, opening up in Vietnam, showing retail investor interest continuing to grow almost as strongly as last year, where 2,000 to 3,000 new accounts per day had been coming up, particularly since the end of the first quarter of last year. Now, with that in mind, some people have been saying that they may look at increasing capacity on the Hanoi Exchange, given that Vietnam operates 2 exchange platforms, the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange and also the Hanoi Exchange, which would alleviate some of the market capacity issues. And then they're also looking at increasing the lot size limit from its present form to 1,000 shares per trade. I think the ideal format is the Hanoi Exchange change rather than lifting the trading parcel size to 1,000, because a lot of the new investors last year and in the first 2 months of this year were smaller retail mum and dad Vietnamese who are very interested in the market, and it's an ideal market to get into, as you noticed before, with the PE multiples at a significant valuation discount to the Thai set, the Philippine PComp, or also the Jakarta Exchange. The primary thing for the government and the authorities, I think, will be just to, while the bottleneck of local interest is creating these capacity trading issues, to look at a way which doesn't disenfranchise all these new investors. So in my experience, I think let the Hanoi Exchange pick up the slack for a little while, invite some of the smaller companies to trade up there, keep the VN30 constituents here. To wrap up things for this session, what do you foresee in that area coming forward from the authorities?
Yes. Just last week, I see an activity between the cooperation between Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange and Hanoi Stock Exchange. Last week, Hanoi Stock Exchange IT department just sent an email to every broker houses here to start a caps trading. That means they transfer the transaction or trading transaction in Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange to Hanoi. I mean, that's so the capacity issue will be partially will move to Hanoi. So that solutions will quickly solve the issue. We know that in Hanoi, the stock exchange there can solve more than 2 million trade per day, and with that capacity, I think that the issues will be solved soon. About the reallocate or some transfer some stock to Hanoi or trading there, I think that's an issue for many companies. I asked several listed firms, and they say that Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange have a better reputation because they consider to be a larger firm, whereas Hanoi Stock Exchange is a quite small firm there.
Okay. So yeah, the recent relisting from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange of ACB Bank kind of underscores some of the market sentiment there among some of the listed companies. They think the bourse is more suited to large cap trading.
Yep.
The Hanoi exchange is very good for newly listed former state-owned enterprises through their Upcom platform. So as you noted, there's quite a bit of capacity there to look at increasing for the smaller trading for retail investors. Okay, so this week we've got a few things coming up. You've got an updated report, unrated company report coming up in a week or two on DigiWorld, which is one of the leading market expansion services companies. And we had the CEO, Mr. Viet, in today actually to talk about that company, and everything there is going in the right direction. The stock's had a bit of a rocket in the last several months, but it'll probably get re-rated based on its fundamentals, and the company has a 20-year plus history. It's not like a new market entrant that's just the flavor of the month or so, isn't it? So we look forward to that one coming up from you in due course.
Yes, we are preparing several reports, other reports, especially from the high growing companies during the COVID times. And I'm very happy to see that in Vietnam we still have many companies can survive and can find solutions, find different way to develop during the pandemic periods. And this is what you just mentioned is a company among them. And maybe next week we will finish a report of Cotecons, CTD ticker, which I think that which is a leader construction company in Vietnam, and the performance of the firm is also impressive. I think that with the recent restructuring, Cotecon will become like come back to the florist route of the development.
So it's a bit of a turnaround story. It's had a few interesting things go on in its life cycle in the last year or two, with some foreign investor interventions. The foreign investors have stuck around. Some of the local investors have also revisited the stock in recent times. So it'll be a timely update, and we look forward to your research when it gets published.
Yes. One sentence to talk about Cotecon is that the bottom year of them is over last year.
You think the bottom was last year?
Last year, and from this year I see some increasing numbers from sales, from profits, in my projections.
Okay. Well, the only way is up for Cotecons. You heard it here first. And we look forward to seeing the CTD research. Thank you very much, and have a good week, everyone.